Hello everyone, Ace here, and today let's talk once again about Short Fat Otaku, aka Dev, who is now just openly mocking the death of ICE agents, and laughing at their corpses because a lot of them died in a way that he found amusing. Specifically, I'm referencing this tweet from January 27th of 2026, where Dev states, quote, "Here is a list of fallen ICE agents. The vast majority of modern ICE deaths are unvaccinated people dying of COVID, laughing my ass off." So yes, the thought of dead ICE agents makes Dev laugh. He finds it personally amusing. Why? Because they died of COVID. And therefore, because they died of COVID, it's a good thing, actually, to make fun of them. It's totally not psychopathic behavior to make fun of someone for dying from a disease. Also, for the record, WhickTV decided to chime in and also jump on the bandwagon of mocking the death of ICE agents. In his case, by just going full-on tribalist by saying, the right has done more damage to ICE agents than the left. Because again, that is a totally reasonable take and not the take of a complete psychopath. You know, the sort of psychopath that defends rape, the way that Wick did during our previous debate, for example. It is a case of rape if you're lying to gain false consent, man.
If you were lying, for example, well, let me ask you this. If I lie to a woman and say I'm rich, like, yeah, baby, I'm a millionaire, and she sleeps with me, right? Mm-hmm. Have I raped her?
I mean, if you have done it with the intention that she would have refused consent otherwise, then yeah, at that point you have deceived her to gain false consent. You are having sex with her without consent. So
would I don't know if I consider that rape.
I mean, you're trying to defend this example of rape now by claiming it's not real rape in your eyes, so... Or the sort of psychopath that defends election fraud so long as the Democrats do it as being the lesser evil. You know, the way that Wick did that too during our debate. You see nothing unprincipled about Dev defending election fraud, trying to steal an election or mess with an election, so long as it's the Democrats that do it.
I don't think he defended the fraud. He was simply claiming, and you can disagree with this claim, that Trump is worse.
Yes, because of the Eastman memo, but somehow Biden is acceptable for, even though he believed that Biden tried to mess with the election, that is him ultimately defending it.
With his stance here?
That is ultimately...
his stance is unprincipled.
Yes, it is, because he's admitting that he's okay with Biden trying to steal the election, but if Trump did the Eastman memo, that's unforgivable to him. That is a two-tiered justice system as far as it's concerned.
No, it's not.
That is Dev being unprincipled. If I punch you in the face, you're going to have different consequences for me than if I shoot you in the face. They're both violence, right? They're both forms of harm to other people, but the results of what that harm does and how that processes are completely different. We would never consider these things the same action. And I can say, well, if I had to choose between someone punching me in the face and someone shooting me in the face, I'm going to choose someone punching me in the face. And I would never accept someone saying, oh, so you choose someone punching you in the face over someone shooting you in the face? You're defending the guy who would punch faces? They're the same. They're both violent. I would laugh that person out of the room. I mean,
anyone would.
Right now you're trying to argue that one form of election fraud is not as bad, and therefore you're defending that form of election fraud by claiming it's okay.
Obviously, yes.
Right now you're trying to argue that one form of election fraud is not as bad, and therefore you're defending that form of election fraud by claiming it's okay.
Obviously, yes.
It's okay.
Obviously, yes.
It's okay.
Obviously, yes.
So you admit that some election fraud is okay in your eyes so long as the Democrats do it. Congratulations.
No. Obviously, yes.
Or psychopathic in the way of demanding that HIPAA rights be waived and demanding that a man's medical records, such as their x-rays, be made publicly available just so that WhickTV can arbitrarily decide that a certain threshold that no one considers to be reasonable was met before he can believe that, yes, the guy might have actually gotten injured.